Good evening. Welcome back to the channel. I am your host, and today we will be discussing how to survive the end apocalypse. Unless you are filthy rich, you're gonna die. The only way to ever survive the apocalypse is to have millions and millions of dollars and have a Harvard education. That way, you can build the deepest bunker loaded with food. And that is the only way. Says I'm richer than you, Survival and Preparedness channel. Hey guys, welcome back to Central Florida Prepper. Today I want to go and discuss the upcoming food shortage. Now, I've been saying things were coming this way, and it's possible that we're already seeing the first signs of this. Now, I know there might be some naysayers. That's okay. So I want to look at this objectively. But first, start off that I was watching one of the channels I'm subscribed to. Been subscribed to this guy for a while, the Ice Farmer. He was talking about a shortage of peas at Wal-Marts. This is nationwide, alright? And yes, I am talking about peas. Although this can is save a lot, but we do shop at Walmart a lot. Now, in his report, he was covering, and I don't want to steal anything from him, so I'm not going to put up his video. You can go to his channel. He was covering that the news coverage on this was real quick to explain that the reason why there was a shortage is because of the new craze of pea protein diets and things like that. That's nothing new. Alright, my wife was vegan for years before we met. Alright, she was a hard believer that pea protein was the best. The reason why she was vegan is because she didn't like the thought of eating little animals. Now, she doesn't have a problem with it. When I explained to her, when we go to Wyoming, we will be raising the majority of our food, whether that be vegetables and cattle. But her biggest thing is that factory farm and the way animals are treated. And I agree with her. The way they do the things, it's just inhumane. Okay, I mean, I worked in a chicken coop chicken house years ago. I was very young, and dude, there's no room for them to even walk around without squishing up against another chicken. So yeah, I get what she was saying. But back to topic. Alright, so I have been receiving emails, and I get a lot of good emails from our subscribers. We actually have somebody on the ground that works at a Walmart, and they've been keeping me informed on price jumps that they have witnessed and seen, shortages, things like that. And also, I recently received photos. So these photos that I'm going to be putting up, these photos I'm going to be putting up are provided by him. And this is more than just peas that are not showing up at Walmart. There's a lot of things not hitting the shelves. Now, I've received over the past month other photos of stores and emails from people saying that Walmart stores between where they live and where they commute to work, things like that, they've noticed that there were these signs up saying product not available. I couldn't get to those locations to verify. Alright, just one of those things. We have one vehicle. I'm not supposed to be driving right now anyway. So, you know, I'm taking their word for it. Alright, no one's here trying to mislead anybody. No one's here trying to fear porn anybody. We're trying to inform each other what's going on. Okay, so yeah, definitely thank you for all the communications from everybody. Let me know what's going on. I'm sorry it took so long to get to this video. But here it is. All right, so as you saw in the photos, there's a lot of other things missing. Now, when I was younger, I was 17. I graduated a year early from high school, and I went to a community college to learn to weld. But during that time, I was working at a Wal-Mart in North Carolina. I was sporting goods, automotives, and I saw when stocks were low or not on the shelves, and the majority of the at that time was because a shipment didn't arrive, whether it be it wasn't ordered correctly or something with the trucking industry, but that was just our store. It wasn't nationwide. This is nationwide that I know of for the P's. Now, there might be more photos like what Davey sent me nationwide. You know what, guys? If you are at Walmart and you see these shortages, things like that, take a picture of with your phone, send it to my email address, okay? Please, all right? Something's up. We've been saying this stuff is going to be happening. I had projected we'd start seeing prices go up into September, and we'd start seeing shortages by the end of the year to the first of the year. Now, this may be the start. Then again, it could just be a trucking shipping issue. But for it to be nationwide, it has me second guessing that real quick. Okay? So I'm definitely believing that there is a shortage already started. Now, we do know that there is going to be a shortage. I've talked to many farmers in the Midwest. So many of them are right here on this channel. A lot of them don't want their names revealed, and that's fine. I understand that. If you feel like you want to say something and let everyone know who you are, you go right ahead. But yeah, they've talked to me about the USDA report on crop, how many square miles, how many acres of crops planted, their projected yield, things like that. They're all saying, nope, not even close. And we're talking like a 40% lower than what they're projecting actually was done. And then they run into the issue of harvesting these crops that they did get in the ground. The fields are muddy. They can't get their equipment in these fields. So there's more to this story than what we're being told. So, not fear-born, just informing you, stock up. Alright? I've already discussed basic foods, canned goods, dry goods, pastas. These are normal things that we usually eat. Alright, we eat it all the time here at the house. That's why we are trying to push and get to that 2-year rotationary pantry here at the house. We've already got a year. We got almost a year and 6 months. And then we have some freeze-dried stuff. Alright, get that rotationary pantry set up first. Alright, that way you are guaranteed you've got 2 years supply of food for the first 2 years. You're good. After a year, or if you know what, I'll make it a little bit simpler for everybody. After you get a year of normal foods, then you can start investing in the freeze-dried, Mountain House, Augusta Farms. I think the other one's Life Essential. There's a bunch of companies out there that have these things. Again, it's the price that gets me to take a step back. But most of our canned goods, 2 to 3 years. Our meats get close to 5 years on the shelf life. Now that is when your food is properly stored in a regulated temperature. Alright, I can't take a can of food, stick out here in the shed with the temperatures at 120 some days inside the shed and expect it to last. It's not going to last. Alright, and someone else had also, several others have mentioned that the best buy date on these, and yeah, I do mark mine with marker too, it's just best buy. It doesn't mean it's expired. Now, I have eaten green beans and carrots that were about 8 to 9 months past the best buy. They were fine. Didn't have any adverse effects on me or anything like that. I'm not saying go eat a bunch of expired food, okay? But something you can play with in a survival situation where there is no food and I find a can that's 6 months old. Am I going to attempt it? Yeah, but I'm also going to take into consideration if this is stored, temperature regulated. Now, if I come across a can and the power's been out for the last year and come across a can here in Florida, probably not going to be eating this thing because the storage temp on these things are not 100 degrees. It gets hot down here. But it's something that you just got to crack open, test out. You take a little bit, all right, if it's past the smell test, you take a little bit, chew it up, spit it out. What did it taste like? You know, was it good? Is it all right? Then eat a small amount. Do not eat that whole can. Now, if you're starving, I know that's a hard thing to do. Being able to pull yourself away from food, even if it's possibly bad, I understand that. You have to show restraint, though, okay? Test it out before you just eat. Because if you get sick, food poisoning sucks. All right, can you survive food poisoning? Sure. I mean, I've had food poisoning a couple times. That's why I don't eat at Hardee's anymore. Okay. It was a bad biscuit. It was a sausage biscuit. I was young. I was sick. But anyway, with this food crisis, I honestly believe we will be facing it. And I was expecting to start seeing signs of it at the end of the year. This may be the start of it. Then again, it might just be a shipping issue. I don't believe it is. I believe we're starting to see things go on. Now, will the U.S. government go and tell everybody, hey, we are short on food? No, they're not. Could you imagine the panic? If you told everybody, we are going to be short on food, you're going to have to make changes. Besides the run to the grocery stores, they're not, no, they're not going to tell anybody. It's going to be slowly trickle. You will get used to it, we'll get used to it, we'll get used to not seeing items, and then next thing you know, I don't know, possible ration cards, things like that. Now, I will give you this piece of advice. If you are a prepper, and if you're here, you obviously are, and you have preps, do not file for a ration card if it comes to that. From the research I did, if you apply for a ration card in that type of situation, you now become susceptible to them coming to your home and checking to see if you're hoarding food. And if you're a prepper, they're going to automatically say, well, you're hoarding, even though you're a prepper. Stay away from those places. Those are last minute resorts, alright? Just FEMA camps, ration cards, things like that. No. We have things set in place. We have a community set in place. We've got plans. Things get too bad here, we're bugging out. Alright, our first thing, we are staying here. Alright, as long as we can. Now there might be something that happens quick and we got, oh screw this, we got to go. Alright, well, we have multiple routes. Okay, now I'll talk about our land. Sorry, I'm looking at the map. I'll talk about our land there in Wyoming. Yes, that is where we're going to be living at. And once I get all this stuff took care of and I'm actually functional, we will be moving out to Wyoming. If something happens now, I might not be able to get to Wyoming. Alright, so I have to have another plan. Okay, we got a couple different plans for different scenarios, different situations. You got to think outside the box on this, guys. But back to food shortage, I believe it's here. Alright, so make sure y'all click that like button for me, subscribe if you're just passing through. This was not an attempt to fear porn. I'm not trying to sell freeze-dried or anything like that. I'm here to talk to you. Go down to your local grocery store, Wal-Mart, Save-A-Lot, Dollar Tree. I don't care. Alright, we start buying like our kidney beans, our red beans. we buy at the Dollar Tree now, because when I go to Walmart, I can only get a 1 pound bag for like $1.38. But I can go down to the Dollar Tree and get a 2 pound bag for $1. Hey, basic economics right there. I mean, really? There's a lot of good food there. Just make sure you check the dates on these foods. Alright, I have seen and almost did the exact same mistake. I had grabbed an item. It was canned goods. Alright, we're good to go, and I did not check. I was in a hurry, did not check that expiration date. And when I was walking to the store, I knew that they had some little snare wire. I think it's actually for hanging photos, but they weren't really good at snare wires. And I turned down that aisle to go get that, and I just happened to look at the date on it. The can was gonna, best buy date was like 6 months later. No, I don't want that. Alright, I like having longer shelf life storage, so just check your cans. And that goes also with Walmart and stuff. Okay, make sure you look at those dates. Again, that's best buy date. That's not the expiration. But when it comes to that, temperature, how this thing has been stored, plays a huge factor. Okay, if this thing sits out here till shit hits the fan, and it says it's good till April 2021, it's not going to be good. Alright, so make sure y'all click that like and subscribe button for me. I think I've already said that. I'm sorry, my mind's a little loopy there. A little bit of news for the channel. We have decided on upgrading some things. I've been having problems with my microphone for one. This is like the third take I've done. We have ordered some new backdrop stuff for the studio, the shed, the bunker, the bat cave. Well, we also upgraded our computer to a newer laptop. It is a refurbished laptop, but supposedly it has a webcam and everything. So I'm really looking forward to trying this thing out when it gets here, because it would be nice to be able to go live with you guys. You know, you see, right now I cannot go live with mobile. I have to have 1,000 subscribers. From my understanding, as long as I have a webcam, a computer, I can go live with less. So we'll give it a try, see what happens. Alright guys, you take care, and I will talk to y'all later.